What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So I just finished watching episode 5 of Tulsa King. You guys, yo. Oh man. First of all, as you guys know, my reaction is under my YouTube memberships. If you are not aware, let me explain. So my YouTube memberships is kind of like VIP for you guys. You get a few exclusive things from me. So with my YouTube memberships, I have two levels over there. Level 1 is for $2.99 a month. Yes, that's $2.99 a month. And for that, you're going to get priority replies from me, which means that if you are a member, I will reply to you first. Special polls and live streams. Level 2 is for $4.99 a month. That's $4.99 a month. And you're going to get everything that level 1 has. Plus, you're going to get all of my reactions to all of the shows that I may watch, any movies, and all of my uncut Try Not to Laughs. Now, this is getting nuts. Okay, so his brother has passed away. This episode, he shows up back in Brooklyn, New York, where he's from, for his brother's funeral. So there, of course, he sees his sister for the first time in years, and he also sees his daughter, finally, for the first time in years, along with her husband. So while there, he doesn't have many words, you know, and you can tell he's a bit uncomfortable, maybe not, but he walks up to the casket with his sister, and, you know, he's just kind of, I guess he can't find the words, because much later he writes something down, and then he calls and leaves that message on the voicemail at the house, at his brother's house. But yeah, so at this point, you know, he's talking to his sister. He's asking all these questions about his daughter, and his main concern is his daughter. Even though he's at the funeral for his brother, he really wants to reconnect with his daughter. So he sees her. They don't say anything at the funeral, but the next day, I guess they show up for a dinner with the family. And, you know, apparently he took care of the funeral expenses. You know, he bought like a really big flower arrangement, and now they're at this restaurant, a nice restaurant that he has paid for, of course. And, you know, he's kind of getting reacquainted with the family. A couple of people have grown up since the last time he saw. And so when it comes to his daughter, you know, he kind of has a few words with the husband, and hey, we haven't been formally introduced, and he tries to make light of the situation or whatever, but his daughter is not having it. She's just like, you know, she's really not for, you know, being around him or having this conversation with him. And they go back and forth. They have a few words, and she ends up leaving, you know. And he's trying to just kind of do right and, you know, do something nice for the family and move on. And, you know, his daughter's just not having it at all. She leaves. That's where it ends up. In the meantime, Tyson gets pulled. So we see that two sheriffs are at this little burger joint or whatever, and they're talking to one of the guys that work with, he's one of the biker dudes. And the head guy is sitting on a motorcycle, kind of looking over at them talking. So he basically is trying to pay the police officers to go basically take down, you know, Dwight, Tyson, and this whole crew, right? So they pull Tyson over. They raid his car, take him to jail, take his phone. They make him give the officers his password just to use the bathroom. He's trying to call Dwight. Dwight's not answering. His voicemail is full. And in the midst of all of this, Chicky calls Dwight and basically tells him, look, tomorrow, oh, when were you going to tell me that you were in town? You need to let me know. And I'm just like, dude, who the hell are you? Like, you sent him away. He's in town, obviously, because his brother passed away. And he's talking to him like his brother doesn't mean anything. He was like, come on, like, that's family. And he's just like, well, don't forget about the other higher family or something like that. And I'm just like, yo, like, that's his blood. Like, are you serious? you're big on family, and yet you're gonna tell him, like, basically make him feel like his brother's funeral wasn't something to be, it's basically something small compared to what you want him to do, which is meet you at the hospital to go see about your father, Pete, right? So, and I guess because he's the big boss and he worked for him, whatever. So, I don't like the guy anyway. So he tells him, you need to be here, and he's just like, look, I have obligations with my family. So he ends up taking care of the situation. He goes out to eat with his family, but then he meets up with everybody at the hospital to go see his boy. So the crew is there. Victor, Nico, and everybody else. And of course, him and Nico get they get into words because I guess the girl that he's dealing with is like sneezing, and he didn't even offer. He's like sitting there talking junk. He's like, here we go. She's sneezing. He doesn't even offer her tissue. So Manfredi takes out a handkerchief and gives it to her. And he gets mad at that. He's like, what are you trying to, like, one up me or whatever. He was like, yo, I could show you up by showing up, type of thing. So they really hate each other, right? So he's there to see him, and Pete is sleeping, so he doesn't see his friend or whatever. So anyway, in the meantime, this is why Dwight's got all this stuff going on, and Tyson is trying to call him. He can't get in touch with him. Meanwhile, the biker dudes go and they kidnap Bo, the guy that I call him Bo because I can't remember the full name, but he the guy that runs the dispensary. So they're taking him hostage basically to try to get some information on Dwight and Tyson. So they know that Tyson got arrested, whatever, and now they want information on Dwight. So they get all this information and at some point, I guess, they take him back to the bar where the other guy is, the guy that is holding or was in charge of getting the tanks, the gas tanks. So the police officers show up, and he was like, well, is he yours? We need a word. He was like, y'all need to get up out of here. And he was like, we ain't going nowhere. He was like, this is I think it's some type of Indian reserve, something like that, to where he's just like, so you're out of your jurisdiction, like you need to go. So they let him go, and I was like, that was a smart move if he was the one that told him to take him to the bar. So aside from that, then they finally released Tyson, but basically they have in writing he didn't have a phone, no money, and the car is repoed. It's at an impound or something like that. So this dude has nothing, absolutely nothing. And I'm just like, that is dirty. That's really dirty. So meanwhile, the whole time, Dwight is still in New York, of course, and he goes to the flower shop, I guess, where his daughter works. And he wants to talk to his daughter, and, they're having a few words, and his daughter's basically, just letting him know how she feels or whatever. And she's talking about Uncle Joe and how he was, there's a little story that she's telling him about the prom night and how he was outside and that he was nowhere to be found, her father. And so then she brings up Nico. And she's like, Nico, the only person that showed up to check up on us once in a while was Nico. And she was like, the package or something like that. I guess that's what they call him. That's his nickname, Nico. And she was like, I guess I found out the hard way why they call him. And then she stops talking. And then he's just like, Nico, like, what do you mean? The package? And I'm just like, oh my gosh. She's like, never mind. So now she looks a little scared, like Nico did something to her. So he's like, what tell me. It's like he knows what Nico did, and he wants her to tell him. And she's like crying. She's like, no, I can't. She's like, look, promise me that you won't do anything. He was like, uh-huh. He, of course, goes looking for Nico. He goes back to the hospital. They're all gone. Pete, of course, is still there. So he goes to see Pete. And he's talking to Pete. And he's basically telling him, you know, how hard it was to be away for so long. And he basically let him know, like, he knows Nico did something. And then he starts grabbing him up, and I thought he was going to kill him right there. He was like, did you know? Pete doesn't know anything that Nico did. He figured that out by looking in his eyes, I guess. So he leaves there, and he found out where they were because Pete told him, oh, where's everybody? Oh, they're down at the club. Man, Dwight went down there and literally bust through that club door, went and grabbed Nico, started going ham. He was punching him in the face, grabbed him up, threw his face on a hot plate, burned his face, then literally grabbed the cord, choked him up. And then the other guys, including Chicky, is there. Chicky and the guy that he doesn't get along with, Victor, whatever, and another guy. And so he was like, yo, like, really? This is what you doing? And then he drug him all the way to where the table was at, threw him on the floor, stomped his face out twice. Then looked at Chicky. He was like, you clean it up. And walked out. I was like, oh my gosh. This was nuts. Yo, the way that he handled business when he got to Nico, OMG. So, of course, this is probably going to turn into a really huge problem. Probably not only with his own family and his daughter. Now, it's like, you're already in deep stuff with your daughter. Now your daughter's going to be involved with all of this. That's just my opinion. I don't know. But of course, this is going to be a big problem with Pete and the family. Because that was Nico. That was one of the guys. And apparently Pete didn't know anything about what Nico did to Dwight's daughter. So it's like, now, you know, Dwight handled business, family over everything. But it's going to become an issue because that was also his family. So it's like, I don't know. I think it's going to go into an all-out war. And now, when Dwight finds out what's going on with Tyson, and that's going to be a whole nother situation. And also, I guess the girl at the ranch that works with Armand, told her basically to look up the information about the guy who he's beefing with. And he looked up some information, and he was like, yeah, like, I've seen big dudes like that in my past or whatever. But he reads up on him, and he's just like, So I don't know if he's scared, or I don't know if they're going to plan something or what. But this is going to get absolutely insane. But anyway, yeah. So there you guys have it. Episode 5 down. Tomorrow will be episode 6. But in the meantime, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys thought of my review and my thoughts for episode 5 of Tulsa King. Let me know what you guys thought of episode 5. And if you enjoyed this review. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to my channel, hit like, share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you guys can get notified whenever I pop up on your feed. I'll see you guys later. Toodles!